So the story, as far as I go, and you've been there, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but either yesterday or the day before, ACT made a fuss about some stickers on the back of a Te Pāti Māori Party MP's laptop.
Hana's laptop.
Hana's
Last
laptop.
week.
Last week. Okay, last week. To do with, you're not supposed to have branding, you're not supposed to have this, these sorts of things. So, however it happened today, Jerry Brownlee kind of went a bit gangster, it would seem to me. And I don't know if he quite went this way, but it was like, if it's good enough for ACT to complain about branding of Te Pāti Māori, then it's good enough for your branding, your ACT lapel pins, not to be there either. And this is my main question. Is David Seymour as much of a whiny little bitch in real life as he came across today on television? Because honestly, it was like the kid who'd been, like I said before, been poking everybody and poking and poking. When someone finally gave him a slap, sits down and is like, "Oh, it's not fair. Why are they picking on me?" So that's my real question. Is he or isn't he?
There's one rule for ACT and there's one rule for everybody else, basically. Yeah. And they can have to thank for the big storm that this has caused is James Meagher. So last week, James Meagher took a point of order about Hana's stickers that she had on her laptop because she was reading her notes off her laptop.
Yep.
Business committee. So Parliament has a business committee, and it's with the leader of the House, the Speaker, all the different shadow leaders of the House, of the different political parties, plus the whips. So they meet on a Monday, and basically the Speaker it's his meeting, and it's about how we're going to run the House, what's the order paper, the urgency, that sort of stuff. The Speaker today disclosed, he made it really clear at that meeting on Monday, remember today is Wednesday, on Monday, that basically to keep the political emblem, symbolism off basically within the House. Because there was a Speaker's ruling by Trevor Mallard in 2018. Yep. Jerry has basically done a new ruling. So today, when ACT went to go and, well, first of all, David Seymour went to take a point of order about something. He's got his pin on his jacket. Jerry told him off. Then another minister basically, made it really clear. If you want to be able to answer a question or take a point of order in this House, you need to remove your symbolism that you've got for your political party. So he sits down like a little kid who's throwing the toys out of the cot, sort of stewing and brooding. I've got 8 kids. I know what it's like to have canteen. And then, so then they go ask one of the ministers a question. That minister stands up, has one of those ACT pins, and the Speaker's like, "I've made a ruling. If you don't take it off, you don't get to answer." So in the end, they basically, they've missed 2 parliamentary questions, the opportunity, one of the questions was about child poverty, and as well as a point of order. Basically, they were told, until you take those off, you cannot speak in the House. So what did they do? All the toys went out. Basically, they just sat there like silent little stroppy kids like this and brooded and brooded and brooded, and then basically didn't respond. In the end, I think Louise Upston made up for her sanctioning, for missing her bill last week, because Jerry's like, is the minister from the government going to answer this question? And Louise stood up and answered the question. But again, it's just like, look, kids, grow up. The Speaker's made a ruling, show some respect. That's the ruling that's been made. Everybody else has to apply for it. What was worse, though, was the leader of the House, Chris Bishop. He was silent. He needs to back his Speaker. And basically Chippy called that out, and it was just like, oh, well, the 11 ACT MPs have just thrown their coalition government under the bus just because of a pin.
Our old mate, Bomber, has said for a long time, as soon as Winston Peters leaves the Deputy Prime Ministership, this government is done. Are these fractions within a coalition, or is this just like kids having a bit of a rumble and everything will kiss and make up literally tomorrow? Oh, I'd like to see that as a cartoon. What about Jerry Brownlee and David Seymour kissing and making up? There you go for you cartoonists out there. Like, what is it, serious, or is it a bit of nothing?
I think you have to read there's something into it. You don't just make a stand like that, and especially against the Speaker, which is appointed by your government as the nomination for the Speaker. They might be feeling under pressure because, they're getting a lot of pressure and pushback from a lot of their, basically the racist stuff that they want to do around Māori boards, etc., and the principals bill. So they're getting a lot of pushback on that in the community. So I think they just can't handle the heat. They're in government now. The responsibility ends with them. And I think what you'll see is, you can put a wager on it whether the government crumbles next year. But when you start to see cracks like this on the daily, then you have to start thinking what's happening behind the scenes.
That example I gave about the cheeky little prick at school poking everybody and eventually getting a slap, it actually, if I approach it more maturely, I would say something like, this feels very similar to what's happening in America when the GOP have been going on and on and on and on and on about communists and groomers and, baby killers and baby eaters for 8 years. And then as soon as, they started getting called weird, all of a sudden it's these guys on the left are so mean, and they compare Trump to Hitler, and it's like the guys who are doing all this poking and like using all these things, as soon as something comes back at them, they are the biggest snowflakes. They crack. They call everyone else. It's that projection thing. They call everyone else snowflakes. We don't really have that vernacular in New Zealand from politicians, but in America, in the right, and then all of a sudden when they get a little prod back, they melt in the sun. Chewy, you jump in, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true. There's nothing that stings more than getting whacked with your own rules, and I think turnaround is fair play. The thing with Hana's laptop is there wasn't even like Te Pāti Māori stuff on there. It was just honour the treaty, and that was pretty much it. So for them to make this a huge issue and then throw a big tantrum about it like days after the fact it's just hilarious to me. It's debate club theatrics at best.
Yeah, but Chewy, you've nailed it. It said honour the treaty. I guarantee you if someone had a laptop that said Hobson's Pledge, you wouldn't have heard a word out of them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So again,
what do you reckon?
James Neger started it all with his point of order. So there you go.
It is very entertaining to watch, sort of thing. But if we actually get serious for a second, the amount of, the government that's talking about how fiscally aware they need to be, how we're not going to be New Zealand's ATM, we will be, to waste a day in the house by refusing to take off your lapel pins is actually irresponsible to my taxes, to Chewy's taxes, to everybody, because we're paying for that. Do your fucking job. Do what you're told and do your fucking job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a shambles.